Hello and welcome back to Digital Asset Daily. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in your corner of the world. Mind-blowing, unbelievable, exciting. That's what this show is about tonight. I'll apologize right up front for my distractions, as to me this is major breaking news for all asset investors, digital asset investors, because this is going to affect a lot of different assets. And I think here's my perspective. I think over the rest of this year, this right here is going to have a major impact and play a major role on what starts to now unfold. And here's why. Let me give you a heads up really quick. I'm gonna microscope this in and focus on this video with Ripple, XRP, Stellar, XLM for this, because it's a little easy to get a little distracted because there's a lot of different assets that are going to play a role. But I want to make a point with these, especially because of all of the excitement, whether you think it's negative or positive, or whether it is obviously negative or positive, because to me, these are the major roles. And here's why. For the cross-border payments, those two are the major players, like hands down, period, around the board. They're understood for what their design is. Now, going into this article here, let's just go ahead and pop off the headline. Federally chartered banks and thrifts may participate in independent node verification networks and use stablecoins for payment activities. This is from the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency for USA. Now, having said that, Ripple and Stellar are US-based companies. Ripple focuses on its native currency, XRP. Stellar focuses on its native currency, XLM. Now, having said that, let's get into the article, and I think I have this organized enough to make a little sense and just kind of let you see what I see. So, breaking news across Twitter, and this is very exciting, from USDC, from the exchanges, from Judy Shelton even posting. And it's probably a little early, Judy, to say congratulations, but I know that's coming. And I'm going to keep dropping those little tweets on your page of you tell me when I can say congratulations. Obviously, the things that you're tweeting, we know it's coming soon. Okay, now getting into the article. The Office of the Comptroller of Currency. Sorry, guys, I'm having a little coffee with this. Super pumped up right now. Today published a letter clarifying national banks and Federal Savings Association's authority to participate in independent node verification networks, the INVN, and use stablecoins to conduct payment activities and other bank permissible functions. Now, while governments in other countries have built real-time payment systems, the United States has relied on our innovation sector to deliver real-time payments technologies. Some of those technologies are built and managed by bank consortia, and some are based on the independent node verification networks such as blockchain. And stated by the acting comptroller of the currency, Brian P. Brooks. The president's working group on financial markets recently articulated a strong framework for ushering in an era of stablecoin-based financial infrastructure. So identifying important risks while allowing those risks to be managed in a technology-agnostic way. Our letter removes any legal uncertainty about the authority of banks to connect to blockchains as validator nodes and thereby transact stablecoin payments on behalf of customers who are increasingly demanding the speed, efficiency, interoperability, and low cost associated with these products. And I'm going to finish this article word for word, and the reason is directly from the OCC. This, in my opinion, is the beginning, the turning point of everything that we were waiting for patiently. Some of us, 5, 6+ years, and now it's actually here. So this is kind of like, the Christmas present you're waiting for, the birthday present, the holiday present. Whatever your holiday is or whatever your exciting moment is, this is the gift of that moment from my perspective. So the agency letter concludes a national bank or federal savings association may validate, store, and record payments transactions by serving as a node on an IVN. Likewise, a bank may use IVNs and related stablecoins to carry out other permissible payment activities. In deploying these technologies, a bank must comply with applicable law and safe, sound, and fair banking practices. So engaging in INVN within the federal banking system may enhance the efficiency, effectiveness, and stability of payments activities and achieve the benefits of real-time payments already enjoyed in other countries. An example, the big thing with China and the Asian nation, the Asian countries. Those are actually kind of leaping forward ahead of us because of these uncertainties that we just now today received clarity, which is now going to offer extreme progression and momentum in the USA. So beginning from now forward, watch how fast things start happening here in the USA. So for example, such activities may be more resilient than other payment networks because of the decentralized nature of INVNs, which allow a comparatively large number of nodes to verify transactions in a trusted manner. So an INVN also limits tampering or adding inaccurate information to the database because information is only added to the network after consensus is reached among the nodes validating the information. Banks must also be aware of potential risk when conducting INVN-related activities, including operational risk, compliance risk, and fraud. So new technologies require enough technological expertise to ensure banks can manage these risks in a safe and sound manner. So banks have experience with managing such risks, which are similar to those of other electronic activities expressly permitted for banks, including providing electronic custody services, acting as a digital certification authority, and providing data processing services. So among the compliance risks, banks should guard against potential money laundering activities and terrorist financing by adapting and expanding their compliance programs to ensure compliance with the reporting and record-keeping requirements of the Bank Secrecy Act, and to address the particular risk of cryptocurrency transactions. So banks should develop and implement new activities consistently with sound management practices and should align with the bank's overall business plans and strategies. That is massive. So when you see the OCC greenlighting national banks to run nodes and stablecoin networks, you should be very, very excited. The latest from the Treasury's most crypto-forward office says that national banks don't have to fear stable coin nodes. I want to pull up another thing too. Let me take a quick sip. Now remember, the compliance measures must match growing partnerships and innovations in financial services. Let's go back to December 14, 2020. A major barrier to expanding financial access to the underserved and excluded 1.6 billion individuals worldwide and millions of businesses and organizations is meeting regulatory standards of risk and compliance historically constructed for traditional bank-centric financial activities. To date, compliance measures have not kept up with the innovation and modernization that today's financial technologies have developed, and which continue to offer substantial inclusion benefits, but it need not be this way. And then as you get into this discussion, it's talking about Stellar Development Foundation's recent Meridian 2020 conference. And the reason I'm bringing those up because everywhere I find a Ripple, I find Stellar from the beginning of this channel, and vice versa. Everywhere I find Stellar, I tend to keep digging and I will find Ripple somewhere in the system. Now back into the article. Since you already know, if you've been here for a while, Ripple and Stellar are two favorites. We call them the twins on this channel, nearly identical. So together with Candace Cowley, General Counsel for Stellar, and Tom Robinson, the co-founder of Elliptic, I discuss ways to provide equitable access to the financial system to more individuals and organizations. in particular with growing opportunities for the back-end infrastructure provided by Stellar to complement fintech companies like Finclusive. And we have more tools at our disposal to provide these financial access gateways while ensuring necessary compliance protocols are that much more effective and efficient. And now let's go move forward, because that sounds like what we were looking for and today we just received. Now let's go into the next here. There's a great video for this, but I'm not going to play it. It's the typical legendary theme for all of the Ripple drops. It may not set off any of the, warnings for YouTube, but just for reason, we're going to skip playing that. But feel free, because as in every video, we include the links to everything that we discuss so that you can further research. And in this exact example, you can come back and you can play the video, and it's worth it. Basically 7.5 minutes. And you have Brian Madigan, and you have, for example, Dave Schwartz, also known aka Joel Katz, discussing a great deal and clear explanation of actually building the stablecoins, third-party stablecoins, directly on top of the XRP ledger, the XRPL. I'm going to read a little bit into this, but the reason I really wanted to basically connect it to this is just reading right here. Again, what we just got compliance for. So the third-party cryptos could launch on XRP Ledger, says Ripple's David Schwartz. Now, a little bit into that, it says Ripple's developing a feature that could allow users to mint asset-backed tokens directly on top of the XRP ledger, David Schwartz states, who is the CTO of Ripple, or the Chief Technology Officer. And he's working, as he calls, on exciting new features to broaden the ledger's functionality and allow third-party users to introduce other cryptocurrencies into the XRP ecosystem. And the reason I'm showing this perspective is it doesn't necessarily lock it down onto XRP, but it allows the third-party cryptos to launch on the ledger. And again, I'm sure for most of you that's clear what I'm trying to say and pointing out here with this article. But what I want to do here is also bring up this, the Ripple naming Bank of America as the key member of its global payments network. And you'll see how I kind of laid this out so it all starts connecting. So Ripple naming Bank of America as the leading member of RippleNet, which is the umbrella term for the company's global network of banks and financial institutions. Again, Ripple being focused more on institutions, where Stellar is more focused on the retail level, the unbanked and underbanked. So you can see how they fill in the void, or fill in the, comparing Ripple to Swift and then Stellar to the retail options of today. And again, there are other assets that will connect to these and fill in this technological role. But with this specific video, because it's discussing the regulatory clarity from the OCC in the US, and Ripple and Stellar are US-based companies. So back into the article, the updated outline of RippleNet published on the San Francisco startups website. Ripple features Bank of America, Standard Chartered, Santander, MoneyNetent, SBC, and Neom as 6 leading financial institutions in the network. So the RippleNet membership is a network of leading financial institutions that partner together to collectively and democratically govern and evolve RippleNet. And these institutions work to standardize global cross-border transactions, creating a community regionally and globally where members can learn and share insights and best practices of their use of RippleNet, growing and building a new commercial relationship with other members. So although Ripple first announced a partnership with Bank of America back in 2016, details on exactly how the financial giant is utilizing Ripple's payment products have trickled out at a slow pace. A demo at Ripple's recent Swell conference showed a Bank of America customer sending money using Ripple's payment messaging technology. And now we're going to move into the Ukrainian Ministry of Digital Transformation to develop virtual assets and to facilitate CBDC infrastructure with the Stellar Development Foundation. The Ministry of Digital Transformation of Ukraine and the Stellar Development Foundation announced partnership to facilitate the development of the virtual assets ecosystem. So the Ministry of Digital Transformation of Ukraine and the Stellar Development Foundation, the SDF, signed a memorandum of understanding and cooperation within which they will work on the development of a strategy for virtual assets in Ukraine. Under the memorandum, the Ministry of Digital Transformation and SDF will work to develop a modern virtual asset market infrastructure and enhance Ukraine's status as an innovative digital country in the financial market in Eastern Europe. So the Ministry of Digital Transformation is working on creating the legal environment for the development of virtual assets in Ukraine, and we believe our cooperation with the Stellar Development Foundation, SDF, will contribute to development of the virtual asset industry and its integration into the global financial system, said Alexander Bornyakov, the Deputy Minister of Digital Transformation for IT Development. So another important aspect of this cooperation is contributing to the development of an infrastructure for a Ukrainian national digital currency. Most of the world's leading countries are developing their own national digital currency. The National Bank of Ukraine has been researching the possibility of CBDC implementation since 2017. It demonstrates Ukraine's movement towards one of major financial trends, and at the ministry, we aspire to ensure our country's adaptation to technological innovations and competitiveness in the financial market in Eastern Europe. So the memorandum outlines the core focus of the partnership as follows: cooperation of the development of virtual assets market in Ukraine, provision of support to projects related to virtual assets, implementation and regulation of stablecoin circulation in Ukraine, and facilitation of the development of the digital currency of the central bank in Ukraine. And as stated, we believe digital assets and national digital currencies are one of the most important innovations of our lifetimes, and we are excited to play a role in the creation of Ukraine's digital asset infrastructure, said Danelle Dixon, CEO and Executive Director of the Stellar Development Foundation. So through the leadership of the ministry, Ukraine has demonstrated its commitment to fostering an environment of innovation for the digital economy, and we look forward to working with the ministry of other stakeholders to digitize the Hrvania to bring Stellar-based tools and services to the people and businesses of Ukraine, and to introduce new partnership opportunities in Ukraine to businesses in the Stellar ecosystem. So I think it's been a pretty amazing and very exciting day, and we're going to do a quick recap. Let's start right... let's start here. As needed, the compliance measures must match the growing partnerships and innovations within the financial services. And then what happened was you had the OCC greenlighting the national banks to run nodes and stablecoin networks. And directly from the Office of the Comptroller of Currency, the US OCC, federally chartered banks and thrifts may participate in independent node verification networks and use stablecoins for payment activities. That is a very massive move forward. The momentum, I believe, now from till the end of the year, coinciding with a bull run, and this bull run on its own merits is a utility-based instead of speculation. I believe it's going to increase the momentum significantly. So again, I look at FUD in a different perspective. It's kind of one of those things where if someone says something negative and you know all of the details and the facts, it's kind of like something more so to make you laugh than to stress you out or to get you upset. So kind of that's my perspective when I see FUD, is hours and hours and thousands of hours of research. When I see the FUD, it kind of makes me laugh. And, I share it because to me it's bullish. And they're not going to do that, as they say, unless it's first they laugh, first they, make fun of you, then they attack you, then they lose, then you win, so to speak. That's the way that I view it. Now, moving from now having the approval, thinking back to they now have the stablecoin, basically guidelines and permission. And then what do you say with Ripple and Stellar US-based company, now having the blessing from the US OCC. And in the reminder that third-party cryptos can now be launched on the XRP ledger is something that David Schwartz had been working on to have that capability. And then what do we have but Stellar continually building CBDCs and stablecoins? For example, you have a stablecoin like Stronghold. It's built on Stellar based on USD. You have the Paymon, which is a gold-backed digital currency built on Stellar. Then you have the Paysend, which is the IMF equivalent built on Stellar. Stellar has everything to do with currency already currently available around the world. So you have, again, two US-based companies who have been held back significantly from lack of clarity, the regulatory clarity, now been giving the green light, basically to the banks, to be able to do what these have the capability to do. So remember, this is not financial advice. It's for entertainment purposes only. I'm personally extremely bullish and very excited. But before I go, I want to leave you with a final thought. You'll never change your life until you change something that you do daily. The secret of your success is founded in your daily routine. Much love. We'll catch you in the next one.